real people to score cheap political points. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Cotton.
Director Mulvaney, welcome to the committee. How does it feel to lead an unconstitutional agency?
Senator, I've given that one a lot of thought. I'm not sure that I have the discretion to consider this agency to be unconstitutional. I work there. I've been appointed by the President to be the acting director, and I think the system starts to break down if people who work at places make their own conclusions about constitutionality. If the President tells me it's unconstitutional, I'll pay attention. I'm assuming it's constitutional every single day when I go in. But I see your point, and it's well taken.
That's a reasonable response. As you know, a three-judge panel of the D.C. Circuit had held it to be unconstitutional for a variety of reasons.
Yes, sir.
Combining the single director structure as opposed to a five-member commission, its independence from the congressional appropriations process, and its independence from the President's executive authority. The whole court just reversed that decision in bank after it was packed when Senator Reid broke the rules of the Senate in 2013 to fill the D.C. Circuit. Of those two opinions, which one do you find more persuasive, the D.C. Circuit panel or the D.C. Circuit in-bank opinion?
Having worked there, having seen the authority and the discretion that is giving to the sole director, I think that the circuit decision was well reasoned.
Let's turn then to your report. You mentioned a few changes, two of which are funding the Bureau through congressional appropriations, which would address one of those issues. Another one is ensuring that the director will answer to the President in the exercise of his executive authority. But it does not mention, as far as I can tell, the single director structure as opposed to having a five-member commission. Could you give me your opinion?
Thank you for that. Yes, sir. And we absolutely support that. The four that we put in the report this year, we try to have a constant theme, and the constant theme there was the accountability and the transparency. And while we think that a five-person commission could help smooth out some of the variations from one director to another, Mr. Cordray and I are very different people, and we plan to run the agency very differently, and a five-person commission might sort of bring some stability. We tried to focus these four specifics on your oversight and on the accountability that we have.
But from your experiences, you believe that the Bureau would operate in a more effective manner for taxpayers and consumers alike if it had a five-member commission leading it as opposed to a sole director?
I don't know if any director of any bureaucracy has ever come to you and said, please take my power away, but that's what I'm doing. And to the extent you can do that, I think we will all be well served by it.
So let me ask you now to draw on your experience as the director of the Office of Management and Budget, which oversees the entire federal government. There are many examples of five-member commissions to include in the financial services world, like the SEC, or in your world in consumer protection, like the FTC. From what you've seen in the way those agencies operate, is there any reason to believe that that five-member structure that they have is not suitable for the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau?
None whatsoever.
Thank you. Let's turn to the conversation we had earlier about your compensation for your employees. I believe you said that your payroll will be $16 million less than your predecessors?
I think that's right. Is it 18? It says 6, yes, sir.
So $16 million less. Do you know what the average compensation numbers are compared to your predecessor?
Total compensation average $195,000 a year. We have 1,627 employees.
How does that compare to Director Cordray's average compensation?
It's the same. He's the one who set most of this up. I've got three departments where the average salary is above average compensation is above 250. I've got a dozen that are above 230, and I've got another dozen after that that are above what y'all mentioned.
So the CFPB has had pretty high employee salaries going back to its very beginning.
Oh yeah, I think it was set up that way.
Indeed, it was set up in that fashion. I have to say, I don't remember any Democratic member of this committee ever asking Director Cordray about the salaries that he paid his employees. Chairman Crapo, you've been around for a long time. Do you remember questions like that?
I don't recall one.
What about Senator Shelby?
If I could engaged in a conversation.
He was the chairman. I don't think I remember any questions from them either. Let me ask you a question about one specific employee, Leandra English. What's she up to today?
I honestly don't know.
She purports to be the acting director, correct?
There's a lawsuit that she is maintaining that asserts that. Yes, sir.
And I think that actually is in court today. How much does she earn?
I honestly don't know. 212 is her base compensation.
And you don't know what she does?
I'm trying to be careful here, Senator, because she's suing me. But I've never met her.
So she's earning $212,000, claiming to be the director, running around, and we have no idea what she does all day long.
You said it better than I probably could.
If this Bureau was accountable to the president and had 5 members and had congressional oversight of its appropriations, you think maybe we would avoid a situation like this?
Well, I certainly think someone would have been able to ask the question.
I have to say, I'm somewhat amused by the tone of this morning's hearing. Again, the roles seem to be reversed from what they were for the first several years of this Bureau. The Democrats seem to have been hoisted on their own petard the way this Bureau was structured in the Dodd-Frank bill. I think, therefore, we should all take a lesson from what we've done here and just adopt some of these prudent amendments to its structure. If it was more like the SEC or the CFTC or the FTC or the FCC.
All of which are appropriated.
All of which are appropriated, and have 5-member structures and have some greater degree of accountability, we wouldn't see this wild swing in the opinion that Congress had towards the Bureau and what consumers and businesses and other people can expect from the Bureau. Thank you, Mr. Director. My time has expired.
Thank you, Senator.
Senator Jones.